Okay, I can receive guest requests. So, as folks begin filtering in, we're going to be asking the question of what really happened on January 6th? Turn that off. What really took place on January 6th? And we're doing this from a MAGA perspective. We're not doing this from just, you're going to hear things from the liberal. Good morning, Fast Pass and Nutty Banana. Hey, man, how's it going? Love the name. Okay, we're asking predominantly MAGA. That's who my main audience is, by the way. But we're asking the question, what exactly took place on January 6th? From a Republican standpoint, if you lean right, if you're conservative, if you support Trump, we're looking for that point of view. What do you believe exactly took place on January 6th? Why are we asking this now, over a year, almost a year and a half later? Because there are hearings coming up. There will be a live televised event Thursday on several different networks. They're going to be basically releasing more information in regards to the investigation that's ongoing. And they claim that they have new stuff that needs to be stated, needs to be brought to light. So I'm asking, what do you believe? I don't even know how to get it out. I cannot even get the words out. I can't even enunciate. But what do you think happened on January 6th? A casual tour of the Capitol. B-Dub. A casual. I love it. A casual tour of the Capitol. Okay. All right. Should be great. Shay, I'm definitely going to be tuned in. How many of you other folks out there? By show of yes or no, will you be tuned in to the hearings 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night, a little bit over 48 hours from now? By showing the comments, how many of you folks will be watching that? Tater's Anonymous, another great name. Deflection from what? You can't deflect for what we're paying at the gas pump. You can't deflect from the prices of goods and services in America. Nothing can deflect from that. We know the failures of the Biden administration. So holding a hearing on what took place on January 6th is not going to deflect from that. I do not understand why it's still being talked about, says 11 Butterflies. Well, because a lot of the questions have never been answered. A lot of the facts have never come out. Certainly whether Trump had anything to do with it, I understand my particular audience thinks he's totally innocent of it. That's fine. But whatever happened with Trump and how he was reacting while this was taking place, because he has not cooperated with any line of questioning, we do not know. So that's kind of why it's still being talked about, is because there was no closure to it. You don't know what took place. They refused to cooperate from day one. He didn't. He said, let's march down there and not attack, says Jay. So yeah, that's fine. But what was he doing while the attack took place? Why are there so many members of his administration claiming they tried to call him, they couldn't get through? Folks are saying he was watching it on TV with glee. 7 hours of supposedly there's 7 hours of missing communication from Trump's cell phone that represents the time that this was happening. I'm not trying to say Trump is at fault. I'm just simply saying there are enough questions that have not been answered for folks to ask questions. Get my likes up. We can make 5,000 happen. 300 folks in here we're having a love fest. That's what they said. That's what we're doing right now. I make it clear my preferred audience is MAGA, and certainly with this particular question, I'm directing it mainly at MAGA. What do you believe took place? What exactly do you think personally happened on January 6th? What was that? Because the true footage has not ever been shown. That's a good point, 11 Butterflies. You asked originally, why are folks still talking about it? Well, a lot of footage has not come out. Certainly footage suggesting that some cops let those folks in. That footage was very late to come out. You got a lot of right-wingers that are suggesting that Antifa and Black Lives Matter is involved. Folks that suggested that an Antifa member, I believe John Sullivan or something the name, supposedly filmed Ashley Babbitt's life being taken. Well, where's the footage doing that? You should not be in the Capitol building anywhere out in any public forum where there's not a camera. Now, if you're in one of their offices or something like that, like Nancy Pelosi's office where the guy put his foot on her desk, there's probably not a camera in a congressperson's office. Certainly not if they're crooked. You know what I mean? So shout out to whoever was dumb enough to film that guy with his foot on Nancy Pelosi's desk and post it to social media, because without the other protester filming that and putting it on social media, we would have never known that happened. 16,000 hours of video footage still not released. Good point, Ryan Warner. Exactly. So we need to see that. So by the way, folks, as usual, during the lunch break conversations, the box is open now. You want to come in? Let me know, what do you believe happened on January 1st or January 6th? And they won't come out with this panel. I cannot pronounce that name, Velcro, but I will say this in regards to whether the truth will come out with this panel or not. Why would some of the right-wingers who actually felt that they did know the truth, why would they avoid the panel? If you want to say that Liz Cheney and certainly the liberals will never bring you the truth, why not get some right-wingers that actually would bring you the truth and participate in the panel? The moment they launched an investigation, a lot of the right wing said, I'm not going to cooperate with it. So the only truth that's going to be released, or the only version of what happened, is going to be released by people you don't agree with. That was their time to shine and show up. They chose not to. Okay, we'll start out with Kerry. And they won't come out with it. Okay, and like I said, this all of you guys. Kerry, your background is a little bit loud, Kerry.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I'm at work. I'm in the quietest spot I could possibly be, though. I was going to say, I was going to tell you what I saw. I was actually in Texas for work in January 6th. I had 2 iPhones, and I was watching 2 separate, I guess you'd call it, not big media. They were just regular people like you and me. And then I was watching television too. What I saw is not what was reported on TV as far as what.
Okay, what did you see?
Okay, there was the 2 iPhones that I had. It was 2 separate views of what took place, and before they even started, Trump even said, let's go down to the Capitol and let's make our voices heard, or whatever he was saying. And then on the other 2, like the 2 iPhones or whatever, they were just leaving, or whatever. Trump had just said, let's go down to the Capitol or whatever. But on TV, the screen had already went. I mean, it looked like World War III on the television. I was like, what is going on? Something's not right.
So are you suggesting there was some type of delay? So you're on your particular devices, you saw things peaceful on the iPhone, but on TV you saw a chaotic event.
Right. I don't know. I don't think if there was a delay, I don't think it would have been that bad, because I've watched football games on my phone and on the TV and talk to people at the same time, and I'll see something before they see it, but it's like right after I say it, they're like, "Oh my God, it just happened! What? Or you're ahead of me! Stop talking to me!"
Okay. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it ain't that big. I wouldn't think it would be that big of a delay. I mean, it was literally 30 minutes. It wasn't like 30 seconds. It was more like 30 minutes, and I was just like, something's not right. Somebody's lying, and I don't know who. But you just have to dig and dig and dig, and you'll find your answer.
So my question is, why are the Republican senators that were there that day, the Republican Congress people, and Mike Pence, why are they not saying that what the media is releasing is lies? They're just avoiding any type of investigation, but they're not disagreeing with it. They just aren't cooperating. Why won't they speak up and say, look, it was Antifa, it was Black Lives Matter, or they got let in? You're not really hearing that from the Republican Party. Why?
Because I believe they're more than probably involved. That's just my personal opinion.
You think the Republican Party is involved in a conspiracy to hurt it? Because those protesters are the ones that are paying the price for what took place, not necessarily Trump. So you think the Republican politicians are trying to hurt their own constituents, the people that are voting for them?
Good chance of it.
And
Absolutely. I believe
why
both
would they?
parties
Why,
have corruption within both parties.
that is
So
true. I agree with that. But why would they? What would be the purpose of them deliberately injuring their own voting party?
for their own personal interest, they don't care about. I don't believe both parties actually care about us, the people. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but uh,
Okay, now I get the corruption part. I'm not here to pretend like Congress and senators are not corrupt. I agree with that all day, every day. I'm just trying to understand why would they lie about what took place on January 6th, like from the Republican side of things, because the Republican Party are the ones that are being heavily criticized for what took place. So I'm asking, why wouldn't they use Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or like you said, the media is lying? Why wouldn't they? Why would they not use that as a defense to defend their own party? And you're saying they're
because it,
corrupt. I get that, but
because
what do they gain out of that?
because it's being called a conspiracy, and they're scared of that. Anything that's conspiracy, they're as far as a politician, they try to get away from it. But from what I've seen, like I've watched videos of people that were there on the ground. They said, "Look, the media lied to you. The day before, the National Guard was all over the streets. Like there was checkpoints everywhere. And then that was January the 5th, and then January the 6th, there was no National Guard in sight at all. None of them. I
Okay.
mean, something happened. What happened exactly? Whoever made those security protocols needs to be investigated, in my opinion. I don't know who was responsible for it, but that individual needs to be investigated. That's just my personal opinion.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I mean, like I said, that's what I'm asking from the right. Being a liberal, I've heard numerous statements of what the left thinks happened on that day. But I want to find out from folks on the right, my primary audience, what took place on that day. So, do you believe anything criminal happened that day?
Criminal? Yeah, I mean the people that went in and breaking windows and stuff like that. That no, that's not okay. I don't agree with that. I don't care if you're left, right, whatever. I don't care about all that. We're all American. We need to act like Americans and start taking care of each other.
Right. Do you believe Antifa or Black Lives Matter had any significant play in this?
Absolutely, I believe they if they could manipulate a situation to their favor, yeah, they're going to do it. Absolutely. I mean, I would say that with the left or the right. If they see an opportunity to manipulate, yeah, they're going to take advantage of it. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair. All right, well, I do want to move it on. There's plenty of other folks trying to get in here. As always, I always love talking to you, man. So,
All right, man. Have a
uh,
good one.
you too. And this will be the topic this evening. Okay, Bruce City, I just saw you there and you disappeared. Okay, Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with January 6th, period, says Troy, what is it? Troy Allen Comedy. Okay, Black Lives Matter is a communist front. That's a bit harsh, Charles Rock. I'd have to see some proof of that. Here, hang on one second, Hulk. The right isn't going to tell the truth, so why ask the right? Gary Owens, at the end of the day, I make it clear on the broadcast. I am such a fan or proponent of free speech. I want to hear what folks say, even if I don't agree with it. I want to hear what's on the mindset of my viewers. So it's not about always agreeing or thinking that somebody's telling the truth or somebody is lying. It's about letting someone state their points, and then we can all decide whether we agree or disagree or not. Is that fair enough?
Very
Hope,
fair.
how you doing this afternoon?
Working, man, working. Enjoying your
Good.
broadcast.
Appreciate that. Real good to hear from you. So, what do you think took place January 6th? What was that? What happened?
Well, to be honest, like the gentleman before me, um, I am Republican, but I'm for the best person in office. What I believe would happen is, you had some people come in there and try to propose themselves as, Republicans, and they're just trying to create a problem, which I don't understand why they would do that. But I think, like you said, I think we all need to come in and be American and not divided.
So let me ask you this question in regards to what you're suggesting. Some agitators or whatever you want to call them came in,
Right.
false flag, acting as Republicans when they weren't. What led you to believe that? Like what evidence have you seen to lead you to believe that those were not all Republicans?
Well, there are several pictures of certain people that were in that group that were in the riots and everywhere else. They had Democrat clothes on, different things, but yet then they turn out to have Trump swag on or Republican swag on, but they've been in other Marxist groups and everything else. And on top of that, I believe there was more of an inside job because there was video proof that there's police officers allowing these people to come in.
So okay, fair enough. Let me give you a scenario. It might sound way the hell out in space, but I want to ask you this. During the Black Lives Matter protests and riot, is it not possible that you could have had a MAGA agitator at the protest and then showed up at the protest on January 6th and represented what they really cared for? In other words, when you're pointing out Go ahead.
Anything's possible. Do I believe that could happen? Yes.
Okay.
I'm not one of these guys that put their head in the dirt and say, well, everything bad that Democrats do. In regards to that, if you have a government, both sides are going to do something bad. That's just the way it is.
So what about the notion, and I'm reading the comments, folks, there's a lot of you guys in here. Darth Vader, I think that says, what do you believe in regards to the notion that this is an FBI conspiracy, that the FBI was the ones that actually perpetrated this? How do you feel about that?
Do I think that they had something to do with it? Most definitely I do. I think the whole body of government, Republicans, Democrats, everything else, had some kind of hand in something. Because there's too much going on right now that I've seen in my lifetime that is going on for one side to be doing everything.
What do you mean when you suggest one side is doing everything? What do you mean by that?
I can't prove it, but we're all Americans and we all see.
Okay. Someone asked in the comments real quick, you're breaking up a little bit, Harper. Somebody in the comments asked, why Ray Epps is not called to testify? I guess the response I would give is what I said earlier in the broadcast. If more Republicans had stepped up to participate in the panel, that could have happened. When you leave it up to the other side to be the only ones that are going to investigate, they're not going to run the investigation like you would want it to run. So more Republicans, the ones who think this is bullshit, they should have participated in the investigation, and they could have brought out the truth you're talking about. But it's just like anything else. If you don't show up to court, you're going to lose by default. I'll give you the last word, Hulk. So, at the end of the day, do you believe anything criminal took place there that day?
Oh, yes. I mean, I believe that, like the guy said, there's things broken. I believe there was people put hands on each other. I believe that, there were several things that happened that should have never happened. And people shouldn't have been there. They should have never walked into that building that way.
So let me ask you one more question. Out of everyone that's on camera in that building, regardless of what footage you watched, do you believe the majority of those folks were Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or MAGA?
I believe there could have been some MAGA there, but I believe there was a lot of Antifa there. I believe there was a lot of Antifa there.
All right. You believe that more people inside the Capitol building?
I can't tell you that.
What? Okay. But you believe there was a healthy number of Antifa inside the Capitol building?
I do, yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Fair enough. What about Black Lives Matter? You think they played a part?
I do.
Okay, and Black Lives Matter too.
I can't. Yeah, I can't tell you that because I've seen more Antifa there than Black Lives Matter.
Okay, fair enough. All right, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming through. If you will, follow the channel. Doesn't hurt you. 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to do this again. But I appreciate you coming through, Hope.
All right, thanks, man. Enjoyed the broadcast.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Much love. Like I said, folks, there are folks in the audience that may disagree with the question that I'm asking or whatever. As you can see, I'm letting the people speak. That has never been any issue in these broadcasts, despite my name. Do not show up here and underestimate my ability to allow free speech. I hate folks who do that. So you always get to speak here. It doesn't, and I don't agree with everything I'm hearing. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you do get to speak. Let me go back to my boy, and only. He never disappoints. 52.
Good afternoon, young man.
Good afternoon, sir. What the hell took place on January 6th, sir?
Americans taking their complaint directly to where it originated.
Interesting. Okay. So I have to ask I got to throw one question at you. The suggested lynching of the vice president. Where does that play into this?
Who suggested it? I never heard that before.
You never heard those chants? And the reason I said that is because I don't want to set off the TikTok censors, but you know what they were chanting there that day in regards to Mike Pence.
Well,
how does that play into it?
Well, people chant for the Cleveland Browns to win, but we know that's not going to happen.
Every time I talk to you, I walk away with a smile because you say some shit that always makes me laugh. Okay, so they were cheering for the Cleveland Browns that day. Okay, fair enough. So you don't see any issue with that?
I didn't hear that they had done it, but my whole take on and January 6th is my birthday, by the way, and I had a Navy buddy visit and I hadn't seen in 40 years, and I begged him to go to D.C. I wanted to go, and he didn't want to go. But
would you have went inside the building if you were there that day? Being honest, just being
absolutely.
honest. Right, and let me make it clear, folks. Even as a liberal, I just want to point out because I've always wanted to go to a rally just to engage in the amount of energy there. Even though I'm a liberal, that energy I would love to feel that, and I know that energy led a lot of folks to go inside of that building, even though a lot of that was criminal. But I'm just simply asking. That's why I asked you. So you would have went in the building?
I absolutely would. When they open the doors and pull the little cattle staging things back, they opened the door. They walked right in. And somebody posted in here, Capitol policeman died that day. No, they freaking didn't. A little unarmed white girl was shot by a Capitol policeman, and they didn't even bring charges against him. He's the same one that left his gun lay in the bathroom.
Okay,
he's obviously inept.
Okay, let's tackle that. You're talking about Ashley Babbitt. So obviously you do not believe that shooting was justified.
No, she was climbing in a window. She wasn't hitting him with anything. She wasn't quickly approaching him. She stuck her head through a window and he shot her. She didn't produce a weapon.
I'm gonna say what Amy Andell #2 said in the comments. I find to be hilarious. She said, "I've never heard of someone unarmed being killed by a cop." That is fucking. That is hilarious. But okay, so
let's reflect back to that woman, and I don't remember who the black gentleman was, but was driving away from his car. She yelled "taser" and accidentally shot him. You could see immediate remorse with that woman. She sat down on the curb and basically cried because she realized she made a mistake, and they lynched her anyways.
Well, you're talking about Dante Wright, but in the case of Dante Wright, no one on the police department in Minnesota with that killing you're talking, Kim Porter, I believe, is the officer. No one suggested that what she did in that case was justified. It's a mistake. in the case of Ashley Babbitt, they're suggesting that it was justified. Now, you're saying she was climbing through a window or whatever. So I guess I'd have to ask you this question. Do you believe Ashley Babbitt was doing anything wrong at that time?
Well, yeah, you don't climb through a freaking window, but
What if
it wasn't.
let me ask you this question. Let's say you woke up in the middle of the night, thought you had a burglar, and you seen Ashley Babbitt climbing through your window. Because you just said she's not supposed to climb through a window. How would you handle it if she was climbing through your window in the middle of the night?
That's a whole different scenario, handsome.
How so?
If she climbs through my window, I'm not expecting her. It's a surprise. That policeman knew what was going on. He had backup. He wasn't by himself. He wasn't protecting his family. He was there knowing that people were trying to come. So there was no surprise factor there. So saying somebody's breaking in my house, that's different.
Okay, so you're saying he knew what was going on. When you look at the video of that officer, and I believe the officer was an African American, and there's a couple of people cowering behind him. He clearly has a firearm in his hand and he has it outstretched. So when you say he knew what was going on, what do you think, him standing there with folks cowering behind him and a firearm in his hand, based on what you saw, what do you think he thought was going on?
I think he just thought, they're coming, we got to shoot them. He didn't.
Okay.
She didn't produce a weapon. She didn't give him an immediate threat. You have to legally give back the force that's being given to you to stop the threat. You can't shoot somebody that's throwing water balloons at you.
So let me ask you this question then. Okay, fair enough. I get your point. Fair enough. So let me ask you this question then. You've seen the video, and based on what you saw, you're thinking that he wasn't thinking, and that's what folks in the comments are agreeing with you. He wasn't even thinking, he wasn't in his faculties. He was thinking, just let me shoot him. If you could see that on video, what do you think Ashley Babbitt was thinking when she walked towards the guy with a gun in his hand?
She's thinking, he's not going to shoot me. I don't have a gun. I'm not threatening him. Okay. Because you put that trust in the police.
Do you know any scenario where it is safe to walk towards a man with a gun in his hand aimed at you?
Absolutely not. I had this discussion last night. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
So what would have been the mindset of a woman that was crazy enough to walk to an officer saying, do not approach me, or indicating that it's a bad idea to approach me? What would have been on her mindset to continue doing that?
Well, wasn't she a blonde?
I don't think so, but that's I need to start recording you specifically because you never, ever disappoint. You're one of my most hilarious guests.
Well, we watched the summer of riots because of George Floyd. And George Floyd's been 2 years drug-free, by the way. Oh, no, never mind. That was a joke. Never mind. Anyways, well, he has been.
You're going to have my jaws hurting me. Keep going, though.
But we watched them overturn police cars, overtake police stations, take over part of a city. We watched this go on looting targets, that off-duty policeman at a pawn shop getting killed so they could loot the pawn shop. None of that had to do with a policeman putting his knee on somebody's neck.
Right.
Now, January 6th was 100% about taking your complaint directly to the source.
Okay.
The source of the problem was the government.
Why would you erect a noose on the Capitol lawn? I mean, how does that coincide with taking a complaint to the government?
I wouldn't erect a noose on the Capitol lawn.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Okay, well, I do got to move it on, man. Damn, I hate letting you go, but I got other folks in here. Tonight, I want you back.
Everybody thinks I'm a racist. Everybody thinks that I'm a racist. It's like I tell people, I'm half black. Okay. I didn't get the big D. I got the bad credit. No. Now
that was fucking bad. That was fucking bad. But I'll see you tonight, man. Come on back.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
52 Cents say some of the wildest shit. I always enjoy having them on. I don't have to with them, folks. I do not have to agree with them, but I let them speak. Okay, your financial guru. Did you get the wrong program, sir? Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Have you been listening to the program? And real quick, I got almost 300 people in here. We can get 5,000. We could have a hell of a lot more MAGA in here. If some of you folks tap the screen, we should have 5,000 likes in here pretty damn easy. Okay, go ahead, sir.
So what would you like me to cover? The January 6th issue and my opinion of it, and how there's footage and the
Your
fact it was
opinion.
actually a staged event. They turned down National Guard that was offered. They turned down additional police force that was offered. You want to talk about all that stuff? Or do you want to talk about a different topic because we can't solve the
No, we
January
want to
6th
talk
thing?
about it. We want to talk about exactly what you just stated. My question is, if all of that happened, why are there not more Republicans on the panel to show proof of that? That way,
Because,
the true story, if that's the true story, that way it would come out. Why would so many right wingers that were there that day avoid the panel involved? I mean, they're literally leaving it up to the liberals to discuss the narrative. Why do that?
well, you have to understand that there are very few real. Well, let's go back a little bit farther. Republican, Democrat, you understand a long time ago they became the same coin. They are not standing under the principles that people assume they are. They are both private companies. They've orchestrated the whole election process nationally. I've ran for office. I know about the game, and it's a game. And you take whatever they give you on your little bitty plate and say, thank you, sir. And if you don't play that game and trade your soul for power, you're not in it. And that's, I don't care what letter is after their name. The
Okay, let
Republican
me ask
Party
you.
is filled. Hold on, one more thing. The Republican Party is filled with feckless, spineless individuals who do not respect the individual person, the American in this country. It's filled full of
So
it.
So then I have to ask, because I know my Trump supporters, I make it clear my preferred audience, the folks I prefer talking to, my MAGA folks. I know a lot of you guys do not like folks like Mitt Romney, for instance. Why
Great
why
example.
do Republicans keep voting in what they refer to as rhinos? Why not send a more viable candidate in regards to your
Why do
interests?
Democrats hold on? Why do Democrats keep voting in Nancy Pelosi, who's done nothing for them but destroyed their district?
But the Democrats like Nancy Pelosi. You don't
The
like Mitt Romney. Why do you
the
keep
the,
voting
the
in Mitt
rhino
Romney?
the rhino Republicans love Mitt Romney. He's a globalist. He's a corporatist. Just like go look at Nancy Pelosi's net wealth. She's a corporatist. I don't care what her letter is. You can get over that. That's the stuff people have to quit thinking like that. Either you're for
Okay.
America,
Here, here's the point I'm
or you're
trying.
not.
Okay. Here's the point I'm trying to make. You're comparing Nancy Pelosi to Mitt Romney. What I'm trying to tell you is overwhelmingly the Democratic Party likes Nancy Pelosi. You guys hate Mitt Romney, and he keeps winning elections. Are you suggesting that the state
No,
of
no, no,
Utah?
no, 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 no. You're telling me you went to Nancy Pelosi's district, which is full of filth and just decay, and you've walked and talked to people that say they love Nancy Pelosi, or are you just saying it's because what the media's told you and some stuff that you've read? If you told me you went on the
I'm saying
streets and you talked to Democrats personally, I'm not saying the media. The media's whole job now is to lie to all of us. It's all it ever
okay.
does.
Okay, here's the
So
answer to that question. Here's the answer to that question. The people on the streets that you talk to, they don't show up to vote. So they don't count. Yeah, you don't like Nancy Pelosi, but if you don't vote, you don't count. Why would a politician cater their interest to someone who will not show up and support them on election day? So you're pointing out people who are not going to show any politician. If let's say they get rid of Nancy Pelosi and put in a politician that's going to clean up homelessness on the streets of California, they're not going to vote for that person either. So there's a reason why those folks on the street do not coincide with Nancy Pelosi. She's
I'll
not
take you
showing
one.
you the.
All right, hold on. I'll take you one challenge further. All right, would you say Barack Obama was the most popular president amongst black people?
Absolutely.
Okay, but Joe Biden got more votes than him.
Yes.
So you're telling me, and I could tell you, I add one thing further to this. All legal registered voters in the United States total 120 million people. So
Okay.
either Trump's people are cheating, with 76 million. And if they did cheat, then they should be put on the carpet. Or Joe's people cheated with 81 million because there are only 130 million registered people that vote in this country. Do you follow?
Well,
Simple math says there's been
okay,
fraud.
let me respond to what you.
I bring this
Okay,
point up. Hold on, wait, just one more second. I bring this point up about the fact you say people keep voting in losers, and it's not really that way. I'm saying the system's gamed. It's all gamed. All of it. It's all gamed. When I ran for office, they told me, go ahead.
Okay, if the system is gamed, then what are you complaining about? What is Trump complaining about? It was how did Trump? Let me make it clear. Hold on, let me respond. You're throwing too much out there. You're throwing. I got to be the respond to some of this.
No worries, sorry.
Yeah, in 2015, when Trump came to power, he suggested that the system was rigged. In 2015. He won in 2016. Suddenly it became Russian collusion delusion. I won fair and square. Leave me alone. Okay, no one asked how could you win a rigged election fair and square. But anyway, in 2020, when he lost, suddenly it was rigged again. So I have to ask the question. Trump came to power in 2015 saying it was rigged. He lost in 2020 saying he lost a rigged election. What did he do during the 4 years he was in office to secure the integrity of the election?
That question is fair in its own sense, but you have to go actually a little farther back. It's a strand of stuff, right? There's no simple answer.
Just give me some legislation that Trump passed or even suggested passing when he was in office with a Republican Senate, a Republican Congress. What did he do? What did he even talk about at his rallies? Like, we should do this or we should. What did he do in his 4 years to secure an election that he stated was rigged before he got in office?
I won't argue with the logic of your question because I can't answer it off the top of my head. But because he's done enough other things, because he felt there were bigger issues or there were other people working on it. Because where I sit in the position of what I think, I know that this is a longer game than just these two elections, right? So if he's a president, comes in office, he's like, I got to pick the things I can focus on. I got to do reform, right? I've only got so much time, so much energy. I have the media constantly saying everything I do sucks, even though if he invented cancer and brought Jesus to the planet, they would have said, you took too long and people already died, whatever. He couldn't win whatever way he cut it. So he picked his priorities and ran. Now, legislation, reform,
knowing that you could be cheated out of office, should have been his number one priority. That's democracy. But go ahead, continue.
No, because the power of voting is in the states. The misnomer is that there's some federal system that controls your votes. It is not. All voting is regulated by each individual state. Each state. Every state has that authority. So he could have put up on high and got some big federal mandate and come down because he's no different than a dictator then. He didn't have authority to do that. Every single state has to decide that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on, but I want to ask you this, and I'll give you the last word. If he knew the authorities were controlled by the states, then why bitch about mail-in voting? If that state wants to do that, leave them alone. Either you want to be federally in control of everything, or you don't. You can't say states' rights, but if the state does something I don't like, then I'm gonna try to. Either you for states' rights or you're not. I'll give you the last word.
He didn't do anything about it. Either way, he complained about it, but he didn't stop the states from having voting. Oregon said it's mail-in voting for 30 years. He didn't stop them. He didn't stop Washington. He let them do their mail-in voting because he complained about it because he said it's going to be a problem. And look, if you watch 2,000 Mules and you realize the technology of how they caught people cheating, it's the same way you get DoorDash, same tech, same way Google tracks your everything else about you. And they just used it to track people that were stuffing boxes. They did it across 5 states. So more will come out on this over time. Time will tell. It'll help everybody learn what really happened. And then I think every American wants voting integrity, no matter what side of the coin you're on. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's it. So thanks for letting me talk.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. We don't always have to agree. Come on back anytime, man. Appreciate it. All right, let me just say, and somebody said, what did he say? It was rigged. You drank the liberal Kool-Aid or something like that. I'm just simply asking the viewers questions. Are we at a position, my MAGA folks, my beloved audience, are we at a position where you're so far in your corner that even having a gentleman like myself just simply asking you questions and letting you speak, is that too much? I mean, must we just simply only discuss things with folks who are 100% in agreement with us? I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with you guys, despite my name. I'm not even coming at you saying you're wrong this or you're lying that. I'm just simply letting the people speak. And you will be amazed at how much criticism I'm taking just from that in the comments. I'm being as fair as you could ever possibly be. What the hell am I getting wrong? As the guy said on the movie Hangover, what the hell is going on? Oh my God. All right, moving on to the next. You guys, I love you guys. That girl, 151. These were read before mail-in voting. Okay. All right, that girl, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my God, I'm getting hammered. What happened on January 6th? What happened on January 6th in your opinion, ma'am?
So, my honest opinion, so going off of what they both said, it was a setup. Okay, so listen, hold on, okay? Because I know you're gonna argue with me about it, but just hold on. Give me a second. Okay,
right,
so everyone that was around Ashley Babbitt when she got shot, everyone that was around her, if you take their face and you put it into Google reverse search, they are crisis actors. Now tell me, if you take a screenshot, okay, the people that were there when Ashley Babbitt got shot, okay,
right,
and you do a Google reverse search on them, they're crisis actors.
So they're not MAGA?
No, they're crisis actors.
What about Ashley Babbitt? Who is she?
Was she MAGA? I'm sure she was, but I'm sure she was part of the crisis actor as well. I'm sorry. Do I think she's still alive? Unfortunately, I do. I think the woman, it's a whole game. I really do. I think she's alive.
You think Ashley Babbitt is still living?
Yeah, I do. That's my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. But those are crisis actors that were around her. Because if you look those people up, they are crisis actors.
I don't even have a rebuttal. I wasn't expecting you to say that. Okay.
No. Okay, look, dude, I'm serious. Take a picture, a screenshot of these people's faces, okay? And do a Google reverse search. It's really easy on your phone. Do a Google reverse search, and you will find information on them. They are crisis actors.
Why is Trump not saying that?
Good question. I don't know. Look, I'm not for either one of them, so I can't tell you why either one of them, because I'm not for either one of them.
I don't think I've heard from a single person that was there that day that has suggested what you just stated. And there's been hundreds of them have been arrested. None of them are using that as a defense, which would help them. If they could, Ashley Babbitt's family could sue and use that. Not one person that was there that day is saying that. Why is that?
That's a good question. Why is that? But you know what? Like Trump and everyone that was there should be saying something. But if you look these people up on Google reverse search, okay, they're crisis actors. It's not a joke, dude. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. I can't stand the government, if you want my opinion. I can't stand either side because they're both after us. I truly believe that. None of them are for the American people. None of them.
So what has led you to believe that Ashley Babbitt is still with us?
Okay, so if you watch the video of her getting shot, those people that were there when she was getting shot, first of all, you could see something in her mouth that popped, okay? Not only that, where she was shot at, okay, the blood that was coming out of her mouth. First of all, why is there a video showing with the blood coming out of her mouth, and like you can see the pack of it in her mouth, like you can actually see it.
So you're talking like a dye pack where they like what the actors bite.
That thing. Okay. Yes, I couldn't think of what it was called. Sorry. Yes, that thing.
So the police officer, the African American gentleman that allegedly, I guess in this case, shot her. So in other words, he didn't do anything wrong because he didn't shoot her.
I think that's why he's still there, to be honest with you. But I think our government's excuse my language, sorry. I think our
Okay.
government's corrupt.
Okay.
I do. I
All
believe
right.
our government is 100% corrupt. And they're not for either side of us. And if people believe the Dems are for you or the Republicans are for you, neither one of them are for you guys. Neither. They're for themselves and they're for the money that's in their pockets.
Fair enough. Well, look, obviously, with a guy with a name like mine, I'm not going to be in the same camp. I don't submit to that theory, but I definitely wanted to give you a chance to get your point across. I do need to
No,
move the show on. Go ahead. I give you the last word. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say because if you look these people up, they are crisis actors. And someone said this lady can vote. Yes, I can. But if you look the people up, they're crisis actors. That's not a lie. You can actually find these people.
All right.
Just
By the
the
way,
same
folks,
as the people that were in New York and Texas.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming through. You're welcome back anytime. We don't have to agree, but you're welcome back anytime, ma'am.
You have a good day, sweetie.
You too. You too. All right. That was that 5-1. That girl 151. It's a pleasure talking to her, regardless if I agree with her or not. I just like to let folks get their opinion across. She has an opinion that even among a lot of my MAGA folks in here is controversial. That's fine, but she got to state it. At the end of the day, the notion that Ashley Babbitt is still alive is perplexing to someone like myself, yours truly, because I've taken so much flack from right-wingers that suggest the officer that supposedly took her life was wrong. So, based on what she's saying, the officer didn't injure anyone at all. The woman is still alive. Big Ivy. And we going to 1,000 likes in here, right? Right? What my Patriots said, 10,000? You can't do that for a liberal one time? It's not necessarily Nancy Pelosi. Big Ivy, good afternoon. Big Ivy, can you hear me? Big Ivy.
Hey.
Hey, good afternoon to you. Have you been listening to the broadcast?
Yes, sir. I've been, off and on.
Okay, what's on your mind? Give me your spiel.
I don't know. I seen a short film on Gateway Pundit called January 6th Truth, and I was wondering if you've seen that.
No, I have not. What is it called?
January 6th Truth.
Okay. No, I have not even heard of that. And my audience is usually pretty quick in recommending things to me, and I have not heard that. And by the way, to the caller before that girl, I've seen 2,000 Mules a half dozen times, and I've actually had broadcasts on it. But January 6th, the truth. What comes out in that is different from what's in the media?
Well, it's showing where they was over there by the doors trying to get in, but everybody was pushing them up in there against the cops, and the cops, they was spraying people with mace, clubbing the hell out of them. And that's what, got January 6th. Patriots might have seen that, beating them down unconscious and still beating them. Killed this one woman, I forgot her name.
Ashley Babbitt.
No, not Ashley Babbitt. There were several others killed that day.
I'm not aware of anyone else, police officers or any. I'm only under the assumption that Ashley Babbitt was the only person that lost their life there that day. You're saying that many other folks lost their lives there that day?
Not many, but several.
Any names? Because I want. And by the way, folks, we got almost 300 people here. Folks in the audience, do you know of anyone else other than Ashley Babbitt? Somebody said 4 people. Somebody else said 5. Give me some names of who else lost their lives there. And Big Ivy, was it at the hands of the Capitol Police? How did they lose their lives?
Yeah, they was some getting trampled. One guy saved 2 lives from dying, and he's been locked up ever since January 6th. And I don't understand why they haven't had a trial or anything. Some of them has. Some of them got off because they were let in, and police, shows them talking to, people coming in, the dude with the horns and this other guy with a full beard, they're saying, yeah, we got to keep it peaceful and all that. And one cop, just walked the guy with the horns inside the state capitol. And
the QAnon Shimron.
Yeah. I ain't got no respect for him, but He didn't do anything wrong. He was like led in there.
Really? So
Yeah,
you're
by
saying
one
it?
cop.
Okay. Do you think that cop committed any crimes by letting them in?
No, it was like setting people up, setting people up, just letting them come in and then arrest them for being there.
No, I'm
When
asking you, do you believe that cop, if you were the supervisor of the cop that you're suggesting that let QAnon shaman in, would you punish the cop that let him in?
Yeah, but ain't none of them gonna get charged with anything.
Okay.
Cops
All
letting
right.
them in. The metal, the magnet doors. You got to press a button to open the doors. They can't just bust that down, and they didn't bust it down. They may unlock that.
All right. So what about the folks that were climbing the walls and breaking windows?
I say, yeah, it shows. There's many videos out there where they was fixing to arrest some people that was busting in the windows and stuff, but they just turned around and walked away from the guy that was busting the windows. There's
I
patriots
don't.
out there trying to stop all that, but
Okay. So at the end of the day, you do believe it was a setup. So who do you believe orchestrated the setup?
well, Trump said let there be 10,000 soldiers there, National Guard or whatever. And Nancy Pelosi didn't do it. The cops down there didn't call for backup. They didn't stop it. They tried to stop it at like 2 doors, but let the
Why
majority
would
of
you?
people
Okay,
in.
if everything, here's one thing I don't get, and I'll say this to you and folks in the audience. If everything was peaceful there that day, they were let in, a quote unquote love fest. Why are they hammering Nancy Pelosi for not calling the National Guard? If there's nothing going on wrong, why are folks hammering her and saying she should have called the National Guard?
Because she's seen the crowd. They knew the crowd was going to be there. Donald Trump draws a crowd no matter where he goes. If
That is
he's
true.
got two or
That
three
is
hours
true.
notice, he'll have 10,000 people there.
That is
But
true.
it was set up so Trump couldn't run for office again.
Okay. I mean, so why is, let me, I guess the question I'd have to ask, and that could be an interesting point, what you said, is that they tried to set this up so that Trump couldn't run for office if he was convicted. Now, I'm not in the camp of saying that I believe that, but it makes a point. Let me ask you this. Why is Trump himself not stating that this was an FBI or an Antifa or a Black Lives Matter or an agitator setup? Trump is not saying that. Why is that?
Because you don't put all your cards on the table right at the beginning. He's asking people to send more videos of January 6th, what they saw, and there's a lot of videos out there.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't
some
know.
of it said, Antifa breaking in windows, and not Antifa, but whoever they said breaking in the windows, and all this happened in one day, one afternoon, about 4 to 6 hours. But the other cities burned for months and caused like billions of dollars of damage. I'm sure a
Right. And,
few
and,
doors
and
and
we
windows.
can, yeah, we talk about that on other videos. I understand folks are making the correlation to how Black Lives Matter was treated versus the Capitol. I understand it. But in regards to this, I'm just bringing this up because there's going to be a prime time televised investigation into this, or they're going to televise some of the investigation on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Will you be watching that?
I watched the highlights cause most of it's, from one side. It ain't, it's only gonna be one sided.
Well, it would certainly be one-sided because the other side did not even want to cooperate with the investigation to begin with. So there's no way that this could have ever been two-sided. When you're pushing that, I don't even want him to be able to be subpoenaed for anything. So I don't know how you could do it two-sided.
No, because if it's like asking Trump over and over again if he's racist, why has he gotta keep saying, no, I denounced KKK many times, and if he answers, no, I'm not racist, nobody's gonna believe him. So
Right.
why should he answer? Why does people have to answer that wasn't even there?
Okay. All right. Okay, fair enough. I mean, some of that I will say is politics. So, like you said, why does Trump have to keep answering if he's racist or not? I guess I will rebut and say, well, why does Obama have to keep answering if he's born in America, or why does Trump or Why does Biden have to keep answering if he has dementia? When you become president, people are going to ask you crazy stuff. That's not necessarily something that is unique to Trump. That's going to happen. I mean, how many times did Trump keep suggesting that Obama was not born in America? And when Obama released his birth certificate, he still didn't believe it. And then once Trump got elected, he said, "Yeah, the guy was born in America." I mean, that's just politics. Some folks are going to claim Trump is racist because it helps benefit their cause. They may not even believe it. They just say it because it helps benefit them. So I don't want to say that what is happening to Trump is right in regards to the racism claim. I don't know what's in the man's heart. There are folks who are going to throw the R word around because it benefits them. Just like folks were throwing around when Obama got elected, that if he got elected, we would be taxed at 70%. Gas would be $5 a gallon. Everybody's guns were going to be taken away, and we were going to become socialist Greece. It benefits folks to say that. And it benefits folks to call Trump a racist. I'm not defending any of it. I'm just explaining it. I'll give you the last word. I got to move the program on.
No, I just want to call and say, I'm glad to see you. Glad you're open-minded and easy to talk to.
Awesome.
Most liberals are, you're not
Go
like
ahead.
most of them, that can talk, back. I hate people that, just hang up on you or call you names and they ain't got a real discussion going on.
I appreciate that. And you're welcome back anytime, man. I do appreciate that. Big Ivy, come on back through anytime. We don't have to agree, but you will get to speak. Appreciate it.
Right. Appreciate it. Bye.
Right. Okay. Looking in the comments, I'm going to have to wrap it up shortly because I do got to go back to lunch. There's a whole bunch of you guys. So you guys, obviously the topic is a bit more, it's in my opinion, even though I'm on the opposite side of a lot of my callers and a lot of folks in the comments, I'm tired of talking about kids losing their lives in mass casualty events. So I will entertain this shit all day, every day compared to that. I mean, I'm just going to give it to you straight with no chaser. Anyway, Obama is all up in y'all head. That's the same thing I hear about Trump living rent head. Okay, fair enough. All right, unapologetic black. Let's leave it there. Okay, Rochester Rays, I believe we talked before. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's going on?
Oh, I'm in the trenches. I'm in the trenches, man. What's going on with you this afternoon?
I see. I just wanted to, give a quick shout out to the young lady that thought that there was some kind of conspiracy to kill Miss Babbitt and or some kind of Illuminati or something. I don't know where she get that from. But as we talked before, there's a gentleman named Lieutenant Byrd that is responsible for taking her life. He gave her the command to stop. The guys from the guys pushed her through the window. That's the thing that killed me about a lot of this stuff. It's like if we going put what they put a woman, them guys was looking at that man pull that gun out and they pushed her like to dare him, knowing that was the last barrier of defense. And he just did his job. He just completely.
I will say this in regards to what you're saying. I'm more probably along the lines with you because folks were saying Ashley Babbitt's shooting was unjustified. And that was my first response. It doesn't matter if the guy was a Capitol Police officer or a bank robber. If someone has a firearm in their hand, do not proceed towards that man. It doesn't matter what you think is going on. The notion that she didn't think she would get shot is outrageously irresponsible. The guy has a gun in his hand. It's outstretched. Why would you continue proceeding towards that person? That, at the very least, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Continue.
But not only that, he's hearing all of the radio communications of the officers getting beat with fire extinguishers, of the barricades, and they talked about, the police just let them in. Man, is you going to sit up there and you already seen the other police try to stop them, okay? So you're going to put your life at risk to stop some people. Come on, man. I would have stepped to the side too. Anybody with brains would be like, yo, we done. It's just let it be what it be. Not knowing, but at the end of the day, it's like restricted. They have what you call restricted areas, from political buildings all the way down to public schools. You're not just going to walk in the principal office because you want to see him, because you got a problem with a teacher that your child has. No. there's all kind of arrangements that need to be made to be going into these buildings and going into certain places. But what they
Well,
thought is they were going to
let me
take
ask you
that
this.
house. Yes.
Okay, I always have to play devil's advocate, even though I probably am closer to agreeing with you. But let me take your example about there are procedures to talk to the principal. You can't just march down in his office. What if you've been making calls? What if you've been trying to do it the correct way and nobody seems to listen? Do you at some point you're going to have to go down to the principal's office if they're not, because that's what they're saying in regards to the election in the Capitol buildings, that they tried to do it the right way. They knew it was stolen. I'm just playing devil's advocate. They knew it was stolen, and nobody would listen to them fighting for democracy, so they had to take it down to the Capitol building. What do you think about that?
I think it's a bunch of smoke up a butt because they sat there and recounted all of that stuff. They sat there. They went as far as to try to disclaim the makers of the machines, and now Donald Trump getting sued by them. Okay,
Yeah,
you got all of these people with these theories and discredits and Illuminati imaginations. It all goes back to racism. It all goes back to people having it in their heart to promote a man that was a womanizer, that was a racist, that has absolutely zero political knowledge, history, or experience. He tricked us. Listen, I love Donald Trump. Donald Trump made no, I don't love him. I'm done with him. He had the love of black people. You can go back. See, this is what I want you to do. Go into iTunes, and when you search lyrics, just type Donald Trump and watch how many rap songs come up. Not with
well, I
people,
can think of
not
one
with
right
people.
offhand. I
Yeah,
can
but
think of
not.
one right. Bill Gates, Donald Trump. Let me hear you now. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
I
agree
mean,
with that.
people always looked at him like, yo, I want to be like Donald Trump. I want to be rich. I want to be this. I want to be that. And when it came out that this dude did not like black people, his father carried on a tradition of his apartments in New York City. He tried to evict all kind of black people or even stop them moving into the buildings. But all of this stuff came out after the fact, which will, like you said, when people go for political office or try to get voted for, try to do anything, they peel back all the layers. Like they tried to
Yeah.
say Obama was an American, he wasn't born here. But all of the stink that came from Donald Trump, they just let incense. They just let incense. It was a reporter on the bus secretly interviewing him. He talked about slutting a woman out, spending $12,000 on it for furniture for her and all of this. But no, it kind of takes me back to Rodney King when we finally had proof, finally had video, finally we got police officers with cameras on them. Finally, we can document this stuff. And with all the documentation from January 6th, with all of the cameras, with all of the cell phones pinging off the towers, everybody that went into that building was in violation of federal code and restricted areas. Every last one of them.
Let me
This was
let
not a
me let,
kumbaya. This was not a. It was an attempt to overthrow the results of an election. Period.
let me say this. Let me say this, and for all of my folks out there, my 2000 Mule fans, as you guys know, the Truth to Vote used Greg Phillips, I believe his name was, to purchase data from cell phones to do geo-tracking. I would really be curious if we could use that guy to do geo-tracking of what took place on January 6th, because like the caller is saying, a lot of folks had cell phones there. I would really be curious to see if some of them folks with their cell phones had showed up at Black Lives Matter rallies or Antifa, or if they were genuinely MAGA. I would love to see that. Okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and wrap it up. I do want to move on, but I'll give you the last word, sir.
I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. You have a wonderful day. You're very articulate. You get to the bottom of these accusations and things that people say with the quickness. You need a television show, bro. I swear to God, they need to put you on TV because you are the non-biased. And
Wow.
the thing about it is nobody would support you because it's like they don't want to hear the real shit. And they will turn you, listen, they will turn you into something without even giving you a chance, bro. But you really, really, really deserve a salute, man, for being able. Listen. I'm surprised they ain't tried to report your account and shut it down. I'm surprised they ain't did all of this stuff just to, you know what I'm saying? But but again, salute. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna let the next caller come on in.
You're welcome back anytime with a statement like that. Shit. Shout out to you. Okay. I understand a lot of my viewers do not agree with what he said. That's fine. I agree with quite a bit of what he said, but I'm a liberal. Who gives a shit? Okay, I will say this. My numbers normally, like he was talking about TV show and folks, I certainly love the accolades and the compliments, but generally on these platforms, we all pick sides. If I was an African American and my name was Trump is the best ever, my numbers would be way the hell up. If I was a liberal and I was constantly bragging about how great Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar sound on The View, my numbers would be way up. The fact is, you got a guy with my name that's not really trying to hide any of my affiliation, and I'm making it clear my preferred audience is MAGA. You're never going to get a whole lot of numbers, a whole lot of gifts, or anything with the type of platform I run. I enjoy doing it. I get very educated from a lot of you folks. And then occasionally I hear stuff that really blows my mind. But at the end of the day, I enjoy speaking to you folks. And hopefully, a lot of times when you talk to me, you feel the same way. Okay, I'm going to go back into the comments real quick. Meg opinionated on your program, Meg. Before I got to move shortly. You're looking real good today, girl. Before I wrap it up, I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple more. Meg, have you been listening to the program?
Yo, I've been in here since the Q girl was in here. So I've been in here for a while.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate you holding. What's on your mind?
So, one, salutes because you're amazing. We don't agree on probably a lot, but at the same time, like we do.
Okay,
like,
I can deal with that. That's good. That's fine.
And I love old school liberals, the one who at least can have the conversation and hear the tough things that people say. Because some of the things are tough, especially for that woman who's saying, I believe that Ashley Babbitt is still alive. And she has to deal with the judgment from people. And you were very, very kind to her. And I have to say that. You were very, very kind. And coming onto a platform like this and saying the real things of how we feel, especially for the conspiracy TikTok, which I am very proudly to be part of, to be honest. I am your friendly neighborhood conspiracy theorist.
So let me ask you this then. With a claim to fame like that, what happened on January 6th?
So a lot of different things happened on January 6th. It wasn't just one thing. A lot happened. So I was supposed to go. I did not make it, unfortunately. It's one of the biggest things that has bothered me that I did not go because
What do you think? Being candid, candid. Would you have went into the Capitol building if you were there?
Oh, absolutely not. No,
Okay.
Because I already had suspicions of other things because I also paid a lot of attention to Black Lives Matter, which also were having similar problems with their protests, where it would be so peaceful all day long, and then at night, get real crazy. And that's not something either side can deny. It did happen. And I feel like the same people that messed with Black Lives Matter all summer did the same things at the Capitol to cause it to look and be the way that it came out.
So you're talking about agitators. You're talking about agitators.
I'm sorry, agitators?
Yeah, you're saying with Black Lives Matter and the protesters at the Capitol building that they got infiltrated by agitators.
Agitators, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And I feel like both sides have been, because that's why also, if Ashley Babbitt's death was faked, let's say she's still alive, hypothetically, let's say she's still alive, what would be the point of doing that?
I didn't get that
Why
either.
fake
And I
her
tried
death?
to,
Why?
yeah, I tried to ask the woman that. I didn't get what would
Here,
be the purpose of staging that either, but go ahead.
okay. Now I want you to take into consideration the outcry of George Floyd. What if they expected the same thing out of the right for Ashley Babbitt?
Who would be they? Who would
Oh, the
constitute as they?
elites.
So the elites would want to burn down Washington? I can't
Oh,
see the. I
absolutely.
don't see the. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't see that. I don't see the purpose of that. Because Joe Biden is the elites at that point.
Yes. But he is also a very low end of the elites.
He's the president of the United States. He's been a senator he's been a politician his whole
Yes.
life. How could he be the low end?
Because we have what's called the deep state. Have you ever seen the cabal? The fall of the cabal?
No, I have not.
It's a documentary. I would absolutely check out that way you can know what I'm talking about, which goes into a lot of our history with our rich families that literally like go back hundreds of years.
Okay,
it's
real quick, Kyle Russell. Real quick, hang on a second. Kyle Russell in the comments said, "Hang on a second, Meg." In the comments, Kyle Russell said, "Please stop the madness." Listen, I don't have to agree with the woman to let her speak. Is anybody among my viewers that have a problem with free speech? Just because I may not agree with her, why can't the woman speak? Does it? Okay. Does it have to be your opinion to allow someone to be able to? I mean, let the woman state her point. You can post in the comments or come in the box and tell me why you disagree with her, but she gets to speak. Continue, Meg.
Thank you. Hold on. I'm really sorry. I'm getting a very important phone call, but I would love to chat more about this with you. Maybe
7 p.m. 7 p.m. tonight. Come on back.
7 p.m. What time zone?
Central.
What time zone?
7 p.m. Central. 7 p.m. Central. Come on back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Awesome.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. And real quick, folks, I do got to wrap it up. I see your comment, DJ Trump, you said Will and Bye said, "Oh wait, you guys did not like her apparently." Come on now, folks. Everybody gets to speak. That's how we do it here all day, every day. I am a huge, huge proponent of free speech. I always use this as proof of that. If you look at my videos that I have posted on my profile, the very first video in the top left-hand corner that I have pinned among my videos is a caller cussing me the hell out. It is lunchtime for me. I got to go, 7 p.m. Central Time. I will catch you guys tonight for those who want to tune in. Appreciate you watching.